Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is revisiting infrared grills and sleep trackers. On August 2nd, my Tech Talk topic was, do sleep trackers really work? So much has happened in the last 14 days regarding sleep and health tracking wearables that I'll revisit this topic later in my Tech Talk today. But I'd like to start by revisiting my August 9th Tech Talk, which was the lowdown on infrared grills. That was just last week, because some good information was left out due to time constraints. Also, my attitude toward and opinion about certain aspects of infrared grilling and my new grill has also changed significantly. This is the photo I showed last week of the Char-Broil 3-burner true infrared gas grill that I recently ordered directly from the company. It may look pretty fancy, but at $500, it's really in the lower priced, slower heat up and slower grilling time range of infrared grills. First, some things I missed last week. The grill is 53 inches wide and has a grilling area of 420 square inches. That's about 24 by 18 inches. 24 inches by 18, and big enough to do 15 regular burgers and perhaps a dozen steaks or chops. It has a side burner at right under the flip-up cover that doubles as a handy convenience shelf when the side burner isn't in use. The burner igniters are powered by 3 AA batteries and will light any burner with a single tap on the igniter button. A few nights ago, we had a couple over to share a 1.5 pound pork tenderloin fillet that Joanne had previously marinated using her favorite recipe. Char-Broil's advice for infrared grilling a fillet like this mentioned that the grate temperature needs to be under 500 degrees. I did it at around 400 degrees, which made control of the grilling process easier. I used an electronic cooking thermometer to determine when the pork tenderloin reached the requisite internal temperature of 140 degrees for cooking pork. Char-Broil's recipe advised to cut the pork tenderloin in half. However, the half fillet on the left was just 2 inches thick and cooked more quickly than the thicker one on the right. Yes, it's thicker on the right. The left one had already reached 140 degree temperature and was flipped. Note the grill diamonds. By the way, anything you read on grilling, whether it's steaks, burgers, chops, whatever, they always say to rotate the piece of meat a quarter turn halfway through grilling the first side. When you flip it over, the top side has beautiful diamonds. This photo shows the thicker 2.5 inch pork tenderloin fillet after it had been turned on 3 of its sides to finally reach a temperature of 140 degrees. Note that the thermometer reads 141.2. This photo shows me cutting one of the pork tenderloin fillets, my mouth is watering, on a serving plate after they had rested for about 6 or 7 minutes. Observe the color evenness. I wish I could provide an illustration showing the amazing tenderness and flavor of these pork fillets as well. A final quick note. Stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart each carry a selected segment of Char-Broil's line, but no store carries their entire line. However, everything Char-Broil may be purchased at their website, charbroil.com. Wayfair and Walmart happened to carry the model I bought, but I was surprised to learn that they charged as much as $125 more than I paid at Char-Broil. I'd like to add a comment here. I don't mean to sound like I'm hyping for Char-Broil, but Char-Broil is the distinctive leader in infrared grilling, and that was what this subject was about. I ended my August 2nd Tech Talk, Do Sleep Trackers Really Work?, with a photo of the Fitbit Sense. See it there in the lower right-hand corner. It was perhaps the most highly rated Android tracker. I also told you that I had just gotten so fired up over this tracker that I ordered one at Amazon, dropped $300 on it. The next day I began looking at a Fitbit Sense reviews on YouTube, and I was distressed to note that virtually every review had several negative comments, especially about the accuracy of its heart rate, blood oxygen, and electrocardiogram monitors. At our TFS show on Monday, August 2nd, 2 weeks ago, co-host Dr. Ron Brown dropped some information regarding big changes coming in health tracking wearables and Google's new Wear operating system. I began reading tons of stuff on this subject and later watched Ron's Misunderstood Fitbit Sense video. Consequently, I decided to return the Fitbit Sense to Amazon and wait to see what was shaking out there with upcoming sleep and health tracking wearables. It didn't take long to realize that an Android earthquake was in process, centered on Samsung's Galaxy Watch 4 smartwatch sleep and health trackers to be introduced on Wednesday, August 11th. That was last Wednesday. I continued researching the Galaxy Watch 4 relentlessly, both on the internet and on YouTube. I found few negative comments, and by last Thursday evening, that's the 12th, I bit the bullet and ordered a 42 millimeter Galaxy Watch 4 Classic at Samsung's website. I wanted to be the first kid on the block who'd ordered one, but Dr. Ron had already emailed me earlier in the day that he'd ordered a 40 millimeter Galaxy Watch 4 at Best Buy. I guess he got a $60 discount. Zounds, he beat me. Scott Stein at CNET.com writes that Watch 4 and Watch 4 Classic are basically the same internally, meaning that you should probably get the model you like the looks of the most. I disagree slightly. I think features are very important, even if the internal work mechanism is the same. The Watch 4 at left starts at $250 US and has an aluminum body. The Watch 4 Classic on the right starts at $350 US and has a stainless steel body. Perhaps the biggest difference is the Watch 4 Classic's physically rotating bezel to scroll through menus in navigating the watch. Galaxy Watch 4s are the first smartwatches to run on Google and Samsung's new Wear operating system. This involves partnerships with two brands that Google previously competed against in wearables, Samsung and Fitbit. By the way, Galaxy Watch 4s are not able to pair with iOS devices. So no sense buying one if you have an iPhone. Of course, you want to buy the Series 6 Apple Watch anyway. Before Wear OS, Samsung smartwatches ran software from the Korean company Tizen. Google-owned Fitbit smartwatches will also be switching to the Wear operating system, which likely spells the end of the Fitbit Sense, the smartwatch I bought and quickly returned. Important, Galaxy Watch 4's features only work when paired with a Samsung Galaxy smartphone that has the Samsung Health Monitor app installed and set to track data from the watch, according to AndroidCentral.com. This includes measurement tracking of your blood pressure, blood oxygen levels, VO2 max, irregular heartbeats, and body composition. I'll defer to Dr. Ron to explain what VO2 max is. I had never heard of it before. For now, there's no question that Samsung's Galaxy Watch 4s are leading the pack for Android-compatible smartwatches. Galaxy Watch 4s won't be sold in stores until after August 27th, perhaps later in Canada. In my opinion, the best way to pre-order the Galaxy Watch 4 is at a special Samsung pre-order websites set up for both the US and Canada. Incentives and discounts abound at Samsung's websites. August 26, 21 is the pre-order deadline in the US. October 4th, 2021 is the pre-order deadline in Canada. By the way, this is pictured as a Watch 4 Classic I ordered last Thursday.
Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about what comes after a terabyte. Or another way of another good question here is how many zeros in a 𝐷𝐬𝐻𝐽𝐻𝐽𝐻𝐷𝐬𝐻? Yes, questions we all have. So, in general, capacities of storage devices have evolved. Depending on when you or we became involved with personal computers, over the years we've seen changes in the size of storage devices. First came megabytes. I remember saying the first time I saw a computer in the late 1980s with a 40 megabyte internal hard drive, that'll never get filled up. But then over the next few decades, we've moved up to gigabytes and now terabyte hard drives as standard storage space on our home computers. So what does come after a terabyte? Well, stay tuned. Now here's an article that was titled An Intuitive Look at Large Data Sizes. So the information I'm about to present was gleaned from this article, and it was written way back in 2012 by Julian Bunn. Now, according to LinkedIn, he is the principal computational scientist at Caltech and a research scientist at the United States Geological Survey. This presentation lists just some of the various comparisons of data sizes that are contained in the full article, should you want to check that out by searching with that above title. Okay, we begin with bytes. 8 bits to the byte. 1 bit might be a single character on a page, 10 bytes, a single word. Then we moved into kilobytes. And a kilobyte could be compared to a very short story. 2 kilobytes, a typewritten page. 10 kilobytes, an encyclopedic page. 50 kilobytes, a compressed document image page. And 100 kilobytes, a low resolution photograph. Well, that was probably true back in 2012. Okay, now we moved into megabytes. A small novel is 1 megabyte. 2 might be a high resolution photograph, again, back in 2012. 5 megabytes, the complete works of Shakespeare. 10 megabytes, a minute of high fidelity sound, or a digital chest x-ray. 50 megabytes, a digital mammogram. 100 megabytes, a 2-volume encyclopedic book. And 500 megabytes, a CD-ROM. Actually, CD-ROMs contain the ability to store 700 megabytes. Okay, now this particular comparisons, I found them difficult to appreciate because he doesn't give comparative sizes. As an example, the author says 1 gigabyte, a pickup truck filled with paper. Well, what size pickup truck? Or a symphony in high fidelity sound. Well, how long is that symphony? 2 gigabytes, 20 meters of shelved books, but not saying how these books are laid out. Is that the height of 20 meters and how wide is the shelf? 20 gigabytes, a good collection of the works of Beethoven. Well, define the word good. And then 50 gigabytes, a floor of books. 100 gigabytes, a floor of academic journal. How wide and how big is that floor? Then we move on to terabytes. This is a little bit more clear. 1 terabyte might be equal to all the X-ray films in a large technological hospital. Or a better way of comparing it, 50,000 trees made into paper and printed. 2 terabytes, an academic research library. And then 10 terabytes, and this is pretty amazing, you can fit on 10 terabytes the printed collection of the U.S. Library of Congress. Again, this is back in 2012. I'm sure it's a lot larger now. All right, this is what comes after a terabyte, a petabyte. 2 petabytes might be all U.S. academic research libraries. 20 petabytes, the production of hard disk drives in 1995. In other words, he's saying if you add up the total capacity of all the hard disk drives that were manufactured in the year 1995, they would equal 20 petabytes. And 200 petabytes is all printed material. And an exabyte, 5 exabytes, would be all words ever spoken by human beings. So now we're getting to the point where it's going to be difficult to do any kind of comparison. So a zettabyte would be compared to what we measure in the way of internet traffic. So back in 2012, there was an article written in PC Magazine that said predicting internet traffic to reach 1.3 zettabytes by the year 2016. Then in the year 2016, in March, there was another quote from an article entitled, "How Big is the Internet Really?" And that said, by the end of 2016, global internet traffic will reach 1.1 zettabytes per year, according to Cisco. And by 2019, global traffic is expected to hit 2 zettabytes per year. Well, when you consider the prediction made in 2012, looks like they came very, very close to meeting that prediction in these very, very large numbers. Then you have a yottabyte, named after Yoda, they say. Exonobyte, Silentobyte. And here's the one that we started off this presentation talking about, a 𝐷𝐸-𝐺𝑒𝐸-Grottobyte. And I asked the question, how many zeros would be in that number? 33 zeros. That's right, you heard it here first. Okay, thank you very much. That's the end, and back to our program.
Tech for Seniors, Twitter. I'm Hewie Poplock. What this is, Tech for Seniors friends are typical seniors. Many shy away from social media. Those who use social media usually use YouTube and Facebook. Very few, if any, use Twitter. We will cover why you might want to use Twitter, and we'll also cover some ways to use Twitter. What this isn't, a Twitter tutorial, a review of Twitter. So what is Twitter? This is a shorter branch of social media and is for quick updates of up to 280, formerly 140 characters. Twitter is an option that makes you think about the words you use because you only have so many. You can share images and articles as well. Twitter is shorter than other social media, such as Facebook. Twitter began as an SMS text-based service. This limited the original tweet length to 140 characters, which was partly driven by the 160-character limit of SMS, with 20 characters reserved for commands and usernames. Over time, as Twitter evolved, the maximum tweet length grew to 280 characters. Still short and brief, but enabling more expression. Photos can be up to 5 megabytes. Animated GIFs can be up to 5 megabytes on mobile and up to 15 megabytes on web. Twitter accepts GIF, JPEGs, and PNG files. They do not accept a BMP, TIFF, or other file formats. Your photo will be automatically scaled for display in your expanded tweet and in your gallery. Let's look at the percent of U.S. adults in each demographic who say they ever use any of these social media. We'll zoom in a little bit and we'll see that this chart has a lot of information in it, but we're going to zoom in on the 50 and above range. That's two groups, one from 50 to 64 and one to 65 plus. That's what most of the people who are on Tech for Seniors fall into these categories. And let's look at Twitter explicitly And the 50 to 64, there's about 18% say they have ever used Twitter, but 65 and above, only 7% have used Twitter. Now, there are several different participation levels in Twitter. You can share nothing, all the way up to share actively. You can follow interesting people, consume their tweets, and follow news and trends without ever participating more than that. You can use it to follow brands. You can use tweets for customer support, and you can like and retweet. And on the sharing actively, you can tweet about news topics and news. You can share pictures and videos, and you can comment on other tweets. Here's a typical tweet from twitter.com. You'll see that there's an avatar for the user, and then their username and handle will come after the @ at the top. In the article, there is a link, and then at the bottom, you can reply, you can retweet, you can like, or you can share. Now, I use a program called Hootsuite. I'm going to demonstrate both Twitter and Hootsuite. But let's take a look at Hootsuite. This is an article that I posted on Twitter using Hootsuite, and this is how it appears on Hootsuite. You'll see at the bottom that you can do the same. Reply, retweet, quote, or edit. You can like it. You can assign it to or assign it to me, and you can reply direct message or send to an email. This was an article that I posted because Amazon had delivered packages and set them on our handicap ramp. And I said they shouldn't be doing that. So I did the @Amazon to call the attention of Amazon. Within minutes, I got a reply from Amazon's help. We'd like to look into this with you. Can you tell us if this happened with the same carrier each time? You can find this information. I replied to them. They then gave me a link to go in and fill out a form, which I did, and they then said that they will do some follow-up. So within minutes of me posting something on Twitter, I got a reply from Amazon. That wouldn't happen if you posted on Facebook, or if you try to reach them by phone or by email. Certainly wouldn't be within minutes that you would hear from them if they were going to do anything at all. Okay, let's do a quick demo of Twitter and of Hootsuite. Let's go to twitter.com. I'm already signed in. You'll see that this is my Twitter page. You can see that I can scroll down and see many articles. But let's go down to profile. This shows my profile. It shows that I joined in April of 2008. I am following 187 people, businesses, or groups, and I have 119 followers. I can click on this and it will show me what I am following, and I can also look to see who my followers are. So let's go back to the home of Twitter, and this is in the time order. So it'll be the latest. So this was 2 minutes ago. This was posted by someone that I'm following. These are all things that I follow, and that's all I see. Now, I can go to any one of these, let's say Review Geek, see who that is, but then I can also click on the article. It takes us to that article, and I can read the article. Then I can go back to Twitter, and there it is. And then I can either reply to it, retweet it. That means I can click on it and then post it with my name. And this is what gives it a lot of traction. I can just like it, or I can share it with somebody else in several different ways, including emailing it. So that's pretty much what Twitter is about. You just go down and you can see the different articles. There's very little. It only shows up to 280 characters. That's all it allows. And they may not have all 280 characters. You can find any particular article and then click on it and read more if there is more available. That may be all there is, but then you can retweet it, You can like it. You can do whatever you want with it. So you don't have to do anything but just look at the articles. So you're not an active user, but you can still utilize the information that you can get from Twitter. Hootsuite.com. Let's go to Hootsuite.com. Hootsuite is a website, and they also have an app that allows you to use some social media programs within one website or within one app. I have the free version, so I'm only allowed one social media, and I chose to use Twitter. I am logged in to Hootsuite, so when I click on Hootsuite.com, I have the choice to go to dashboard or upgrade my plan. But we're going to go to my dashboard, and here is my dashboard. I have some preset searches in Hootsuite. I have my home, I have anything that I have tweeted, anything that mentions my name, and then I'm following Gig of Stacy, which is Stacey Higginbotham's Internet of Things account, so I can see anything there. So let's take a look first at my account or my profile. You'll see that I do have a free plan, and so I could upgrade from here, but I'm using the free plan. So we're going to come back to my dashboard, and you can see here in the home column are any of the tweets that I've gotten that are up to date and in order of time. So we start with 2 minutes ago, and as we scroll down, you'll see that you may even see some articles that we saw when we were using the Twitter page, because obviously any of these tweets are things that I'm following on either. It's going to show up in either of them. Now, if I want to add one, I am going to search now. I'm going to search for Chromebook. When I do, it creates a new stream or column, and it shows me anything that's got Chromebook in it. But you'll notice that some of these are from other countries in languages that I don't know how to read and don't understand. So I can do something about that, however. I am going to delete that stream, and this time I'm going to do a search on Chromebook and add LANG for language, EN for English, and tell it to search. And now any of those that were in a foreign languages are no longer there, and I have all of the tweets that have the word Chromebook in them. Some of them may be something I'm interested in, some may not. Sometimes I find some interesting articles or some interesting photos to use in some of my presentations. So I like to have this. So here's something for 10 quick tips for your Chromebook. And if I click on it, it will open it up. This is something from YouTube and other articles dealing with Chromebooks or Chrome with the word Chromebook in the article. Now I can also add another stream. I can add another social network if I'm in the paid version. So I could actually, let's take a look at that. I could add Facebook. Obviously, we have Twitter in there now. I could add Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Pinterest if I was using a paid account, which I am not. I can also post from Hootsuite if I wanted to as well. That's pretty much it for Hootsuite. I just use it because it's more convenient than Twitter, and I'm able to do searches a lot quicker and have certain searches already completed for me whenever I go there. So I can add more columns, add more streams if I wanted to. And so as soon as I open up Hootsuite, it's up to date and has all of the stream that I am looking for. Hootsuite.com. Thanks for joining us. This has been Twitter for Tech for Seniors. I'm Hewie Poplock.